Today we've boarded the Norwegian Getaway, which looks suspiciously like the Norwegian Breakaway because they're sister ships and identical. So this is home for the next 19 nights. We'll be travelling to 10 ports. It's a great deal, all drinks are included. And the only thing is that with 4,000 passengers on board, it might be a bit difficult to find a feed because there's only 28 restaurants. But in case we miss out, there is also 24-hour room service. So we're ready for a great time. We've arrived at our first port for the cruise. It's the port of Rotterdam in the Netherlands. Today it's around 13 degrees. It's the top temperature, so the weather's not too great, although it does look as though it's finding up a bit. The Netherlands represents a new country for me. Never been here before. For anyone who's interested in travelling the world, according to list of countries of the world.com, there's 257 countries and territories, and the Netherlands for me represents number 36. So I've still got a lot more travelling to do, and hopefully I'll end up going to all of them, but that's a bit of a long-term bucket list project. We're doing a walking tour of Rotterdam. This city was flattened by the Nazis in 1940, and most of the buildings were flattened. This one survived. It's the City Hall, and this is the garden area that's in the centre of it, and it's really nice. This building still has a lot of bullet holes in it from the Nazis. And here's the City Hall from the front. And down a little bit further away from the city square, all these buildings survived. And it's quite a pretty outlook back across the canal. Very old buildings here. This is called the White House. It's Europe's first skyscraper, built in 1898. The flag's on top. The green and white flags, that's the flag of Rotterdam. Now, this is a giant food hall made out like a big, inside a big dome or hangar, and behind these windows they're actually apartments, so people actually pay, I think, about 300,000 euros, she said, to buy an apartment there. And typical of Europe, it's kind of confronting or strange when you first come across it, but to use the bathroom you have to pay €1. It's a terrific little shopping food mall here. There's so much variety of food and things that you certainly wouldn't get at home. And if you want to buy some cheese, you can choose yellow, red, green, blue, or dark yellow. Just amazing variety. Well, what about this one here? It's like, I've got to try the aqua. Green pesto. Oh, righto. It's kind of weird. This shop is just all spices, and all the way along, just massive variety of spices, and I can't even begin to tell you how good this smells. One of the best things about Europe is their coffee. Absolutely delicious. The second port of the cruise is Southampton, and the plan for the day was to come up to Winchester castle, and we arrived there finding that it was closed. So we've wandered down to the other part of town, and this is Winchester Cathedral. So we're about to do a tour here. Not really what we wanted to do, but that's what happens in travel. It's got to be flexible. This is inside the cathedral. It's pretty impressive. Huge ceilings. A lot of history here, of course. Back to 1047, I think she said. Tour guide is super boring, so I've just taken a little break away from it. Put you to sleep. Wandering around in this. So if you come to England, you've got to come to an English pub, but don't be tempted into the local beer because it's warm, it's flat, and it's like, you know, when you get to the dregs of your beer and somebody stubbed their cigarette in it, their butt, that's pretty much what it tastes like, so just don't do it. Well, today's port is Le Havre in northern France, and we've made our way to the little town of Honfleur. Really pretty little cobblestone streets, and this quaint little bridge here with the flowers. It's it's a very pretty place. A lot of people ask me whether you're better off on the cruise ships doing the shore tours or doing your own thing. It's pretty much port dependent, but at the moment with our dollar being so weak, big saving doing our own thing. To come here on the ship was $75 US, and we just made our way on the local bus for about €7.50, so really easy. The town has these laneways with patisseries and lovely coffee shops and food stalls and so forth. And then over here the main feature is of course the old church. Haven't been able to determine when it was built, but I guess somewhere around 1,000 years old, like most things around here. And there's a good guide, there's Greg. He's also about 1,000 years old. Today's port is Portland in the southwest of England, and the weather's pretty cool today, maximum temperature 14. And here's a typical English beach with beautiful white sand, just like, well, maybe not. Okay. To the town itself, it's quite a pretty outlook here. Okay, you've been warned. Do not climb on Michael.
Titanic. It's the same pier that almost 2.5 million people have actually emigrated out of Ireland from. So locally, it's earned the name as Heartbreak Pier. So guys, who were the last passengers aboard Titanic from Queenstown? So most of them were just ordinary working class men and women that were emigrating all the way to America. Now, most of them travelled alone. but there actually was a good few people travelling in big groups on board Titanic.
Today we've arrived in Cork, Ireland. It's my 37th country or territory. First time I've been to Ireland. And we've just done a tour of the Titanic Museum. Now, Cork was the last port of call for the Titanic before things went a bit pear-shaped. And we're just going to have a look around the town today. Temperature's about 8 degrees, but the sun's out, so we can't complain about the weather. So the port is actually called Cobh, and to get into Cork itself is 24 kilometres on the train, which is one option, but we're just going to find a pub for a Guinness, and then a bit later we're doing a 2-hour sightseeing tour around the local area, which should be good fun. Alright, this is what you come to Ireland for. Mother's milk.
The Lusitania was a passenger ship on its way from New York to Liverpool, and it was shot down 20 miles outside the harbour here by a German U-boat. And that's how our story happens to be here in this little corner of our island, or this little corner of the cemetery as well. And all of those people who lost their lives, they had to be brought ashore here and into town and laid out in all of the sidewalks and in the square. And if you were over town this morning, you would have seen the big Lusitania monument in the centre of the square. Well, that's where all the people were laid out when they were brought ashore from the wreck of the Lusitania.
It's been a little bit rough the last couple of days. The swell's up to 25 feet, but not too bad, and the forecast is that it's going to improve. So this time of year in the Atlantic, that's pretty damn good.